Duval County Public Schools is thrilled to be joining Early Coalition. Our two facilitators this evening are Ms. Sonia McSwain with Duval County Public Schools Early Learning Department. She leads that. And we have Ms. Charlene Gross, who leads our Early Learning Coalition. And together they will be facilitating tonight's class. So with no further ado, here they are. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Gross, and like Reagan said, I'm with the Early Learning Coalition of Duval. I'm going to start our class this evening, and then Ms. Sonia will take it over after several slides. So again, thankful to be here, thankful to partner with Duval County Public Schools, and super excited. Everyone is here and interested in learning about kindergarten. Like Reagan said, we will be giving away a learning kit for kindergarten readiness. You will need to pick it up at our office, and we have like a date window. If you could pick this up between the 18th, which is next Wednesday, I believe, and the end of the month, we are open Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And just walk up to the desk. Your name will be on a roster as long as you put in your full name this evening on Teams. Then we'll just give you a kit when you get there. And hopefully we're also going to have some books available for you as well on just books you can read to your children about talking about kindergarten and getting them ready, getting them excited about kindergarten. Okay, so I'm going to move on with the show here. Next slide, please. Our few objectives we have tonight. We are here to discuss your child's kindergarten readiness skills. We want to be here to support your child's transition from pre-K, VPK to kindergarten. And I know we also are going to help you identify how to find a school and register your child for kindergarten. And I just wanted to share real quickly, even if you are not looking to register your child in a kindergarten in your neighborhood, I invite you to look up school choice on Duval County website, because there are lots of magnet opportunities going on, and the application is open until the end of February if you're interested in looking that up on the website. So it says here, remember what it was like? Do you remember your first day of school? I'm sure some of you might have been scared. Some of you might have been nervous. And if you were like me, maybe you were excited. Or also, if you were like me, maybe you don't even remember kindergarten because it's so far or long ago. The purpose of tonight also is for you to help your child know what to expect when they get to kindergarten. Because when I got there were a lot of things I would have liked to known beforehand, like, boy, who's my teacher going to be? Where am I going to put my book bag? Where am I going to eat? Where's mom going to pick me up? Or where do I get the bus? Lots of questions. And we have all the way from now, all the way till August when school starts for you to set your child up, so they are better prepared. Next slide, please. So like I said, I am with the Early Learning Coalition of Duval, and these are the standards that they're the birth through kindergarten learning standards that the state has put out. And inside these standards are what children should be, what they should know before they go to kindergarten. And so you can access that by looking on the website, just Googling. Can you go back? Yeah, thanks. So you can access this whole book online, and I invite you to do that soon, because that way you know firsthand what we are looking for kids to know by the time they leave pre-K and by the time they get to kindergarten. So it is a very good resource That way you know what your VPK teachers are supposed to be teaching, and you know what the expectations are for your children to learn. Next slide. So in these standards, it talks about just basics too on how to use books. You know, kids have to know who the author is, who the illustrator of the book, the parts of a book. They are also learning pre-reading skills, like the words go left to right to be read. They learned that words make a sentence. They even learned, when to pause in a book when they see a comma or a period, maybe. Kids are learning pre-writing skills. They're learning how to hold a pencil correctly. They're learning how to write their alphabet, upper, upper and lower case, how to write shapes. All of these other activities we do, like puzzles and putting pegs and pegboards, those are those pre-writing skills and help children develop their fine motor development to help them learn how to write. Also in the standards, it talks about how preschool children should be counting, measuring, even doing simple addition and subtraction right now. And you could be working with them already on these skills, so that way when they get to kindergarten, they know it. So something you can do now to get your children ready for kindergarten is make a list. Begin talking about it. It is never too early to start talking about, well, when I was a teacher, I would call it big school, but kindergarten. So share what it was like when you went to school for the first time. Share what you know about kindergarten. Even though school can be an intimidating place, talk about school in a positive way. About you're going to have so much fun when you get to kindergarten. It's also important, though, to give children opportunities to practice those skills they're going to need in kindergarten. And I'm going to be talking about that in a minute, what kind of skills we're really looking for you to hone on with them. If you know what school they're going to go to, drive by the school. Look it up online. Maybe there's a map of the school on there or pictures of the playgrounds. But even better, visit the school. And I don't mean wait to do this, for our open house. You might want to go ahead and do that now. Drive to the school, especially if you're going to apply for a magnet program. You need to go to the school and have them sign off on the application. But you want to go ahead and meet the office staff, maybe even the principal if they're there. It says, we're still talking about that to-do list, but I know many of you may start school clothes shopping, like in the summer or as things come on sale. Make sure the clothes you buy for your children to wear to school are things they can independently fasten, pull up. I used to love dressing my son in overalls. And then I learned very quickly he could never get the clip right on the shoulder. So things like that you want to be aware of, because there's not going to be you there to fasten his clothes back up and everything. So make sure the clothes you have for him, he can use independently. Make sure he's going to have a backpack or a book bag that he can carry, a lunchbox that he can open. He's going to know that he's got to be able to deliver notes from you to the school, and that he's got to deliver the notes from the teacher back home to you. It's like I said, it's not too soon to start all this. Fine motor skills are very important. Practice with your child writing their first and last name. And we write not with all caps, but use like you would want someone to write their name. Their first letter, if it's Laura starts with capital L. And then you use the lowercase, you make a space. And then for the last name, it starts with a capital letter and then lowercase. That's very important for children to also know their real name. For the longest time, when I was a preschool director, we had a child, his mom used to call him Tank. And this boy always thought his name was Tank. He knew how to write Tank very well, but it wasn't till later that we learned his name was Jaquel. And so then we had to go back to teaching him to write Jaquel. So it also says here, practice using scissors. And I know I didn't like having scissors so much in my kids playing with scissors because, oh my gosh, they might cut their hair, they might cut their finger. But there are child safety scissors that you can buy at Walmart or Target or wherever. They do still cut hair, but they don't cut fingers very well. But that would be great if you could practice letting your kids use those scissors. And crowns, many of you probably have crowns in your home. Markers, some people are afraid of markers because they make a mess, of course. But they have, luckily, that Mr. Clean Erasers gets that marker off. But besides giving your children these materials to use, we also want to teach them how to take care of them. Don't peel the paper off the crowns so much because it makes them break. Make sure you put the caps on top of the markers. Even pencils, how to sharpen the pencil by using that little handheld pencil sharpener. But all it says here too, puzzles, Legos, counters, all of these things help develop your child's fine motor skills, which will help them to be a better writer. So the next thing it says, does activities independently for short periods. And so we're looking at when your child comes to kindergarten, they should be able to sit for at least 20 minutes and listen to a story or do a writing activity or, just being able to sit independently for small periods of time, even playing independently. But we're also looking at, do they have social skills? Do they share with others? Do they try to get along with others? I know a real big thing for teachers is, can they follow directions and understand the rules of the classroom? Do they follow your daily routines at home? Do they follow your rules that you have at home? Do they clean up after themselves? Put things away in the right place? And I know this kind of sounds like womp, 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 but these are things we could be working on now. We're trying to do it in the preschools. And if we could also work on them at home, it will make the child better prepared for kindergarten and make them really successful right off on their first day. So I don't know about you, but when my children went to kindergarten, they probably knew my first and last name, but they might not have known their home address. So they should know their parents' first and last names for safety reasons, of course, their own full name. And I mean their full name again, not Tank, but Jaquel, his middle name and his full last name. Their home address. It's one thing you might have it in his backpack on the little tag in there, but your child should knows where they live. Definitely at least what street, preferably the house number as well. And if you live in an apartment, the apartment number as well. And this is also maybe challenging too, for parents' contact information. Do your children know your cell phone number? A good way to teach a cell phone number is add music to it, make it like a song. I don't know if you remember that old 80s songs, 8675301. That was a crazy song, but I still remember the phone number on that song. So that is a great way to teach your children phone numbers. If they have children in the same school, they should know their siblings' names, what grade they are, the teacher they're with, and definitely the school name as well. So as soon as you find out where your child's going to be going to kindergarten, start drilling this now, because it will be very important that they are able to communicate this in case they get lost on the wrong bus or whatever. You may have heard this term too, summer slide. And this is the tendency for students to lose learning gains they made in the previous school year. So right now, if your child is in VPK and they've got this whole summer lull, we know they're going to lose some information, right? Because they're going to forget some of the rules they had in their classrooms. They might forget even how to use those scissors or how to hold a pencil properly. So it's important that you maintain these routines with them. So talk to your children, practice with them, and of course, read to your children if you can, at least 15 to 20 minutes a day, and have them read to you as well. Now, I did mention routines right there, and I do want to spend a couple minutes talking about routines. I did mention try to spend 15, 20 minutes each night with your child to prepare them for the transition to kindergarten. That might be practicing. I do suggest get that book read in there as well, because that's going to build your children's vocabulary and make them a better reader. But when kids know what to expect, like that's why we establish routines. It makes them feel safer. It makes them feel calmer because they know what's going to happen and they know what's going to go on. But that's why I suggest that you start making your school preparations right now. So, what is your expectation for your child each morning now? How long does it take for your child to get ready in the morning? Some children pop right out of bed and they're in good moods. Not my children. They wanted to stay in bed forever, and I would have to drag them out, dress them sometimes in the car. Maybe they comb their hair on the way to school, but they weren't, I'm not a morning person, so I guess they weren't either. What about bedtime? Does your child have a quiet schedule to get them ready for bed? Have you thought about your routine to get your child to and from school now? Do you have a routine you've thought about to get them to get to elementary school? Lots of things to think about now, but routines really help your child. Like I said, they like to know what to expect. This is a good example of creating a morning routine. I think it's a great idea to make it like a chart. Use little pictures on there, keep it simple. But this will help reduce some of those morning meltdowns that I used to experience. We've got to practice waking up early. So I would also suggest right before school starts, maybe at least a week and a half ahead to start having your children wake up in time for school to get that routine practiced. It also says here, pack up the backpack. That may help if you pack up the backpack the night before, or even go ahead and lay your children's clothes out ahead of time. But make sure you've got everything, homework, everything there, right by the door, ready to go for you so in the morning, it makes that routine a little bit easier. And creating a bedtime routine is also important. It says here that a 5-year-old needs 10 and a half hours to 11 and a half hours of sleep. So if you want your child to get up at 7 and be out the door at 8, that would mean the bedtime would be needed to be in bed at 8 o'clock. And I know many families, boy, 8 o'clock, we're still picking up from baseball and, we still might be out to eat even at that time. But we want to make sure the children have enough sleep so they can thrive in their school, their school days, school year. But It also helps to have a bedtime routine, one that does not necessarily have screen time in it. It says at least 30 minutes before bed, practice the 4 Bs. Whether if this is your routine to bathe at night, brush their teeth, read a book, and go to bed. That seems like a nice quiet routine. But whatever works for you guys and works for your child, just keep it consistent. And then we also want to create a drop off routine. So, like I was saying, if you know what school your kid's going to now, you can start doing that practice run, getting them familiar. Of course, you may want to do it when school gets closer for them starting, but also like 2 weeks before, a month before school starts, start talking about what that drop off routine will look like. And once you start that dropping off to kindergarten or getting them to the bus stop, whatever you decide, you want to tell your child about it. Tomorrow we're going to wake up at 7 a.m. and I've got to get you to the bus stop by 8:10, or I've got to get you to school by 8:30. And so start talking about those routines with them and what it's going to entail. It also is very helpful when you're in the morning, you're taking your child off to school or even preschool right now. Tell them who's picking them up, what the pickup routine is as well. Who's picking them up? Are they picking you up at the front door? Are they picking you up at the bus stop? And of course, it's never too early to start talking about, you know, not necessarily talking to strangers and stranger danger, those kinds of things. Well, as you can tell, I'm about losing my voice. So I'm probably going to go ahead and turn this over to Sonia. And thank you very much. Sonia, your turn.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening again, everybody. I was managing the chat during Charlene's presentation, so I will stop periodically to respond to questions in the chat as I'm moving through the rest of the presentation. So one of the things we want to make parents aware of as students are beginning to transition over to kindergarten is that our students are assessed multiple times throughout the year as a part of state requirement. The state requires that our students participate in what's called the FAST assessment. If you have a VPK student, your VPK student has actually taken the VPK FAST assessment. It is the same tool. It is a program called STAR Reading and STAR Math for kindergarten students. Your VPK students are taking the STAR Early Literacy exam. And that is not a pass-fail assessment, but the assessment is designed to monitor students' progress from the beginning of the year to the end of the year to ensure that your student is on track to end the school year, mastering the basic standards and benchmarks for his or her grade level. So your kindergarten students will participate in that. That is an online assessment. Students are assessed on their own with a set of headphones on. They are asked questions, and the student is to use the touch screen on their computer to select the answers. Many of the questions have multi-step directions, so it's really important that students are listening closely to the questions. And it's probably about maybe 27 questions. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes for the students to complete that assessment. The district also adds an additional assessment called Waterford Reading and Mathematics. It is also designed to monitor progress for students as well. And collectively, teachers will use that data to make some decisions about activities that students will participate in the classroom in small groups to either remediate skills that students may be struggling with or provide enrichment opportunities for students who have mastered some of those basic grade level concepts. Parents will get those reports sent home to them 1 week after students have completed testing. So parents are always aware of how their students are progressing. Both assessments are given 3 times during the school year, at the beginning of the year, mid-year, and again at the end of the year. So again, I talked about the FAST assessment. It is a part of state statute. We take it during the first 30 days of school. That progress monitoring 2 assessment happens mid-year. and then they take it again at the end of the school year. Again, both FAST and Waterford are computer-based tests, and on the screen now is our current assessment window. So I would urge you on our district's webpage, when you go to duvalschools.org and you're on the webpage, there is a tab that says Students and Parents, and our assessment calendar can be found there along with the school calendar. In the fall, when your children are preparing for school, before school starts, I would say maybe a week before school starts or the first week of school, you want to download both of those calendars, have them readily available on the refrigerator or wherever in your home you use as the information station, to make sure that you and your children are aware of the days of off of school and the days in which we'll have testing, because we want to ensure that students are well fed on those days and that they're there on time for those assessments. There are wonderful opportunities for at-home learning. We do our very best to give your students everything that they need while they're with us, but learning, the child's first teachers are parents. So we encourage our families to take advantage of some wonderful learning opportunities at home. ABC Mouse is a winner for our young babies. They love it. It's engaging. They've made some updates to that program within the last year that aligns it a bit more to current educational standards, but it's a solid and really well-developed program. One of the things your children should be really good masters of as they're entering kindergarten are letter names and sounds, and it's important that they get that sound production correctly. Starfall is a wonderful tool for that. Often when we are home and we're working with our children, sometimes we pronounce sounds the way that we learned them in schools, and sometimes they have an extra sound on it that's not quite right. And I'll give you an example of that. When we're working with the letter B, sometimes you'll hear parents say B makes the B sound. What happens is when you add that extra little to that sound, and students get into kindergarten and they begin learning how to blend those sounds to make words, those additional sounds make it a little difficult or tricky sometimes for our children to get the correct words. So sometimes it's really great for us to utilize some additional programming to help with that. Starfall is a fantastic resource to do that. On the screen, you also see Adapted Minds and RAS Kids, which are all wonderful resources for families to take a look at and make some decisions about one or two of those programs as an enrichment opportunity for your students to use at home. I know many of us are very wary of screen time, and I totally agree. Research suggests that young children should not have lots of screen time. But if these programs can be utilized daily or every other day, 10 to 15 minutes as a brain warm up for our students or a way to just reinforce some basic skills, it's a win-win for our children. Right now is the prime time to begin applying for kindergarten. If you are interested in a magnet program or a school choice program, if you're only interested in registering your children for their homeschool, you're fine. They begin registration for homeschool registration. That happens typically in our district mid-May, early June. So I would check back on our school choice website or the Duval Schools homepage for homeschool registration in May. But if you are interested in a magnet program or a choice program, the lottery application window closes on February 28th at 11:59 p.m. I urge you, if you are seeking enrollment in one of those programs, to do it long before February 28th. You have to first create a student number, and there are some steps that take a few hours to process. So if you are waiting until February 28th, you may not be able to complete the process in its entirety, which would mean your child would not be able to participate in the magnet program. So the first thing I urge everyone to do is to visit our district webpage, duvalschools.org. Scroll to the middle of the page, and there are some tiles there in the middle of the page, and one of those tiles says School Locator. If you type in your address, it will tell you on the right side of the page, your home school for elementary, middle school, and high school. If you are convinced that that homeschool is where you want your kindergarten student to participate for school this fall, you're waiting until May to register. However, if you're looking for a magnet or a special transfer option and it outside of that homeschool, now is the time to apply through that magnet office. Your next step will be to create a student ID number. If your child has previously had interactions with the school district, either through testing through our Child Find office or being supported at your child's daycare center or school district classroom for ESC services, if you have a child that's participated in Head Start in a public school, or if your child was a part of our district's teen parent program, your child has a student number. You don't have to create another one. However, if your child has never had any interactions, you have to create that student number first. You would go to duvalschools.org, and under departments, you're going to look for focus. You're going to click on that tab, and it has a direct link for you to begin the application process. Once you've created your student number, there is also a link there to create a parent account if you do not have a current parent account. When you're creating that parent account, there is an opportunity for you to upload documents. It is critically important that when you're doing that you upload those 2 proofs of address. The child has to be linked to your parent account once your parent account has been created. If you've uploaded those documents, we have a team of staff who looks at those. They get direct emails that says that there is a child waiting to be linked. They get on there, they link the child to your account. However, if you create that parent account and you have not uploaded those 2 proofs of address, you will need to visit the school choice office or to contact their hotline at 904-348-7777 for instructions on how to provide them with the 2 proofs of address so they can link your child to your Focus account. Once your child is linked to your Focus account, you'll be able to go under the Forms tab in your Focus account to complete either the magnet application or the special transfer application for your child for next school year. Everything is done electronically, so in order to get that application, you must create the student number, create the parent account, or have an existing account, but your child must be linked in order to get that application. Once you have received that school choice application and the magnet application, you are waiting until late March to mid-April to get an email notification of the results of that lottery. Once those results are given to you, they'll give you a date certain on when you can begin visiting the schools to provide the documents that you need. If you are sending your child to the child's homeschool, registration opens in mid to late May. There are some documents that the school must have in order to complete registration. One of the things that gets really frustrating for parents is they go to the school and piecemeal documents. You want to ensure that when you go to complete your registration that you have all of your documents ready to go. So what will you need? You will need proof of age. You will need proof of a current Florida physical exam and a current Florida immunization record. If you're military or a family that's transitioning from another state, that means you're going to have to take your child's current records to either a doctor's office, clinic, or the health department here in Florida and get those documents transferred to Florida forms. You will also need to have proof of address. So when you go to the school to complete registration, and they're going to give you some additional documents that you'll have to complete at the school. So when you get ready to register, just have in your mind it's going to take you somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes to complete the process. Have everything that you need so they don't have to send you away and have you come back another day. So again, you must have the proof of age, proof of a current Florida immunization record, proof of a current Florida physical exam. You also must have 2 proofs of address. Again, when you're talking about the proof of residency, there are certain documents that are acceptable. You can bring your driver's license, a lease or a mortgage statement, a JEA bill. You can also bring automobile insurance, a credit card or a bank statement, a postal service confirmation of a change of address, a payroll statement, a non-cellular phone bill, or your vehicle registration. I can't tell you the number of times I've had parents to bring in just some random flyer that comes in the mail, or they'll bring me something, a grocery store advertisement, although their names can sometimes be on those things, or something from Bath and Body Works. We can't take any of those documents. So you want to ensure that the addresses match as well. So they will check Focus, and then they'll check your documents. So all the address that you provide has to match. And if there's a change of address, then you need to bring those 2 proofs of address to be able to show the school staff that your address is changed, and they can make those changes in Focus at the school site. And again, all of this occurs after lottery notification. So we're not going to schools anytime before mid to late May to do any of this. When the lottery results come out for Magnet and School Choice, it will give you a date certain of when you can begin going to schools to complete registration. If you're taking your child to your home school to register, that window opens in mid to late May as well. And that's when you can begin going to the school to complete registration for the kindergarten year. Again, I want to reiterate that those health records must be on Florida forms, and they have to be presented at the time of registration. Transportation is a huge milestone for your kindergarten students. We want to make sure that you complete the mandatory kindergarten dismissal form. There is a date certain. I'm not sure what that date is yet. I can try to get that information from transportation, but typically it's around mid to late May as well, when those transportation applications appear in your Focus calendar, your Focus accounts. So if transportation is something that you'll need, you'll have to look at the application to see what hubs, and if your child is eligible for transportation in kindergarten. You want to make sure that you complete those forms in Focus when they're available. You want to practice going to and from the bus stops to help your child identify where they should go. The school district does not leave children, kindergarten students in particular, at the bus stop if there isn't an adult there to receive them. So you want to ensure that that is something that you can do. If you are interested in information for either before or after care, as you're thinking of selecting kindergarten schools, you want to call those schools now to find out if they offer the programs at those schools. Every school does not offer before and after care, so you want to ensure that that's available at your school of interest. The schools typically during that first week of school will send home lots of forms, and one of the forms that they always send home in kindergarten is that dismissal form. They want to know if your child is a walker, if your child is a car rider, if your child is a bus rider, if your child is participating in extended day at the school. So you want to ensure that during the beginning of the school year that you're completing those forms and providing that information to the school to ensure that your child is routed appropriately. The bus stop information, again, those forms will be placed in your Focus accounts. And after 10 business days from registering your student, but not before July 28th, you want to log into your child's Focus account to locate your child's bus information. That's what they'll tell you where your child's stop is. If you have a student that's in need of ESC services, in terms of registering your student, you'll register through the same process. But if you have an IEP and some specific needs, I would encourage you to contact our staff in our ESC office. Their parent number is 904-348-7800. You may want to have that IEP review as soon as possible to assist you in identifying a location that can provide the specific services that your child may need. So you may want to have an opportunity to just have them take a look, tell them where you're interested in applying, and making sure that the services are dispatched to that school for your kindergarten student. If you have a child that will be riding the school bus for the first time, it is critically important that you review bus safety rules. The school district will do that with your students, but we also want parents to do that with students at home. Everything from teaching our children to be respectful of the operators and the monitoring passengers, that they have to be orderly as they get on the bus and take their assigned seats, buckling their seat belts and wearing it during the entire trip, staying face forward and remaining in their seats until the bus actually stops, talking quietly, very important about keeping all body parts and objects inside that bus window at all times, keeping their hands, legs, and belongings to themselves, knowing that they can't eat or drink on that school bus, and following any directions given at all times. Just some general information before closing, and I begin answering any questions. All schools have a late arrival and early checkout policy. So for learning to be effective, we want our babies in school on time each day and that they stay the entire day. Students are typically not released within the last 45 minutes of the school day. So we want to ensure that if you have doctor or dental appointments for students, that you make those accordingly, knowing that you would have to, if school dismisses at 3 o'clock, you may want to get there no later than 1:45, 2 o'clock, to ensure that you're able to sign out your child early for any appointments that you may have. There are early dismissal days, and those can be found on the school's calendar when it's available for the upcoming school year. Those early dismissal days are once a month on a Wednesday. It's usually the last Wednesday of the month. They're used for staff training and teacher planning and development. The bus transportation will continue to run during that time. The routes will remain the same. But if your child is a car rider, parents have to make a plan to arrive at the site early to pick up their students, because staff will be involved in training. For information about before and after school care, some schools use their staff to operate their programming, and that information can be found from our community education department. If you go to duvalschools.org and you click on departments and go to C for community education, you can find information there about our before and after school programs. Your best resource would be that school's website. They'll tell you who the provider is on that website. They typically will have the information regarding who their after school program coordinator is, and you can email or call that person to ask questions about whether or not the school provides before or after care services. We encourage all of our parents to be our partners and to volunteer. Everything from school field trips, spending time in the classroom, maybe coming to read to students. We want you there. We want you active and engaged. So we encourage parents to go to duvalschools.org, click on departments and select family and community engagement, and scroll down to the volunteer tab and complete that application. We welcome you. We want you as a part of our school family. The first day of school for this upcoming year for your kindergartner will be August the 14th of 2023. Typically the week before, usually near the end of the week, schools will offer open houses for you to come and take a look. Orientation sessions are provided during that time. So you want to, during the summer months, engage with your schools. They'll send flyers or little email flyers home, letting you know the date and time of those orientation sessions, but you just want to have it in the back of your mind that typically the week before school starts, near the end of the week, usually that Wednesday through Friday, schools will host their orientation sessions for families. So I see a few questions in the chat, and I hope that I've answered them, but I will go through the ones that I see that I haven't answered. Layla asks, are you required to apply for kindergarten at your home school? No. Are you automatically placed in a kindergarten class at your home school? If you don't apply for a magnet or a choice program and accepted into one, then your child is automatically rolled. Everybody's child is automatically rolled to their home school. If a parent participates in the lottery and gets a selected site, then the home school designation is then changed to the school that they were accepted to. So if you're interested in something else other than your home school, now is the time to apply. And if you have any questions about that school choice application process for magnet or choice schools, the hotline is 904-348-7777, or you can visit them at 4032 Boulevard Center Drive. And they're downstairs. They have a team of people ready and available to help. I see a question from Sarah. If my first choice is a magnet and my second choice is also a magnet, does that make it less likely for us to get the first choice? That, Sarah, I am not certain of. You would have to speak with school choice staff. I would say it might possibly do that, but I don't want to give a definitive answer for that. So again, school choice hotline is 904-348-7777. Heather asks, I made a student number in the parent portal, but didn't get an email with the student number. Is there a step I'm missing? No, Miss Heather, we've had some difficulties with that. Our technology team is working on that. You can reach out to that school choice help desk tomorrow and get some assistance with that. Or you can shoot me an email at McSwains, that's MCSWAINS at duvalschools.org. Send me that along with your child's name or date of birth, and then I can pull your contact information, reach out to you, and ensure that you get that information. I see from Miss Gajera, you're asking, I believe their system was down, so we had to call to get the number. Yes, we were having some difficulty with that. What if my child is attending BPK? Does he have a student number already? If your child is in BPK in a Duval County Public Schools, yes, your child has a student number. If your child is attending BPK in a community program, they would only have a student number if they're receiving ESC services from school district staff. My current address is in Clay County, but my child attends VPK in Duval County. Are we able to complete the magnet application? Yes, Miss Abby, you are, but it is a different process for you. So I would need you to call the 904-348-7777 for them to email you the application that you would need as an out-of-county resident. Does the student need to be present for registration? No, Miss Caitlin, they do not. What was the website again to create the focus number? It is duvalschools.org/focus. You can also go to duvalschools.org, click on departments, and go to F, and you'll find focus, and you're able to get it from there. Or you can go to duvalschools.org, click on parents and student tab, and you'll see a link for focus there as well. What if your child is not vaccinated? Then through your doctor's office or through the health department, you would need to get a vaccination exemption and provide that to the school. If the elementary school assigned according to the map is a magnet school, do I still need to apply to the magnet program or wait until May? If your elementary school is a magnet program, then your child can attend that school and not be a part of the magnet program. So if you're interested in your child being a part of the magnet program at your homeschool, then you should apply for the magnet using that magnet application. Can I clarify school of choice? For families who are not attending their home school, there are schools across the district that offer different programs of interest. That some of them are magnets, some of them have a focus. For instance, some schools may be a STEM school but not be a magnet, have a STEM focus or international baccalaureate focus or a dual language focus. So you really want to take a look at what may interest your child and then see schools that offer those types of programs. So again, if you visit duvalschools.org, go to departments and click on the tab that says school choice, there are a number of programs throughout the district, and you can kind of peruse that and make some decisions as a family to the types of program you may be interested in. We offer everything from Montessori programs, dual language, STEM and technology, health-focused programs, performing art type programs in elementary school. So it's really up to you all to kind of decide what choice of program you're interested in applying. Can I put the volunteer slide back up? I can, Ms. Carr. There it is. Oh, sorry. If you apply with RCSA, must you also do a school choice application? If you're interested in a charter school program, you need to contact the charter schools directly. How would it work if we live in Duval, but we want our kindergarten to attend PVPV Elementary? I'm not certain what PVPV is. If it's in another county, then you would have to contact that county's school choice or enrollment office directly about their application process. Can I clarify how to add the student to the parent portal if the student already has a student number? You're going to, if your child already has a student number, you can either contact Choice Office directly, which is probably the best route for you to go, which is that 348-7777 number, to get your child connected or linked to that your parent profile if you have an existing student number. My child is currently enrolled in VPK at a private school. Do I need to register him via Focus if he would attend kindergarten at the private school? No, ma'am. Everything that we've talked about today in terms of kindergarten registration is solely for participation in kindergarten in a Duval County public school. After successfully adding the student to parent account, how long do we need to wait to get the Focus count activated? Is there any time window? If your child is not linked after 24 to 48 hours, contact 904-348-7777. It usually takes a couple hours after the student number is created for us to be able to see the child in Focus in order to link the parent and the child to the account. And then once that happens, the application is available to you in your parent account. So if that does not happen within 24, no more than 48 hours, contact the school choice office to help you troubleshoot. Ms. Lauren asks, is there any military assistance for military families? Yes, there is. Military liaisons work very closely with the school choice office. If you call 904-348-7777, they'll be able to assist you. So we don't need to apply and register at all if we end up going to our home school since they are already enrolled. No, Miss Brittany, there still are some steps that you would need to complete. If your child is not currently a VPK student or had any previous interactions in the district, you would need to create your student number and your parent account. And then there's nothing else for you to do but wait and gather your documents for kindergarten enrollment to open up broadly for everyone else in mid to late May. Ms. Victoria, I asked about military assistance as well. Yes, we are all open to providing that type of support, and the contact number is 904-348-7777. This PowerPoint, Ms. Brittany, the recording of it would be available through Family and Community Engagement. So our Parent Academy team We'll have the recording for this on the district's website for you. My child is VPK. How do I obtain their student ID number to link to my portal? If your child is attending VPK in a Duval County public school, you're going to contact 904-630-6790 for assistance in obtaining your student number, or you can ask your child's teacher. Would you mind explaining the difference between the magnet school and homeschool? The homeschool is the school that is assigned to your child based on your address. It is the closest neighborhood school, and that's your child's homeschool. The magnet schools are schools across the district that offer specialized programming for students. So we have magnet programs that provide an array of different topics. So anything from, say, dual language programming, STEM, performing arts. So if your child is interested, Montessori. So if your child is interested, or you're interested in your child being a part of any of those programs, then you have to apply to participate in the lottery for those. The window closes for that on February 28th, and I advise parents to complete that process at least 3 to 4 days before that, because some of the processes take a little time, and we want to ensure that you're able to get through the entire process before that window closes. Reagan has put up the website for the recording. It's duvalschools.org/parent academy. Ingrid has a question. My son is attending VPK, but I couldn't find his student number. Where can I search for this number? If your child is in VPK in a Duval County public school, you can either ask the classroom teachers, they have it, or you can call the district VPK office at 904-630-6790, and we'll be happy to help. Also, families, please don't forget to visit the Early Learning Coalition office. I think I put up the address earlier. It is 6300 Bowden Road, Suite 290, to get your family kits for the students. So great information and great activities in there to continue to keep our kids learning throughout the school year. I want to thank Charlene Gross from the Early Learning Coalition, Reagan from the Parent Academy for their help in organizing this, and our greatest thanks is to each of you for participating. And now I'll turn it back over to Reagan.
Now, this is Charlene. I just wanted to quickly update the address to pick up the learning kit. It's 6500 Bowden Road.
Got it. Okay. Thank
And
you.
it is Suite 90. So you're coming to 6500 Bowden Road, Suite 290, walk into the desk, into the office after the 18th. So the 18th through the end of the month, and you give them your name, and you say you took a class on transitioning to kindergarten. I'm here to pick up my learning kit. And that's it. Thank you. Reagan, you're on.
I don't think it's possible to provide more information in one class than we did tonight. Wow. Both of you, thank you so much. I certainly wish I had had this class when my fellas were little. I hope all of you enjoyed and had a pen and paper ready, taking copious notes, because that was an incredible course. Bravo. Because it was so full of information, I am thrilled to be able to say this was recorded, and I welcome all of you to come back and watch it again. Give us a week or so and we should have it up on our website. I did put that in the chat. Come back and view it as many times as you want. It will be up for the month. From there, it will go to our YouTube page, and you can access our YouTube page through our website, duvalschools.org/Parent Academy. Please visit. Ms. McSwain has done several courses, several videos recorded for all of you to get as much information as you can to make the transition into public school as easy and smooth as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to take any more of your time. We appreciate you hanging in there for us, with us, and we're here for you. If you have any questions, reach out to any one of the three of us, and we are happy to help. Email address, parentacademy@duvalschools.org. and any question you have, we will direct to whomever the question belongs to. All right, everyone, enjoy your evening, and thanks again for joining us. We hope to see you again at another Parent Academy event soon. Good night.